It is time now for Focus 50 Plus, and Dr. George Schofield joining us once again.
Good morning.
And we're going to build on last week's topic, which I loved, which was sort of dealing with grandchildren and forming like bonds and relationships. And
I had asked my 14-year-old granddaughter if she and her age group could give any advice to grandparents, what would it be? And her answer was, we live in very different times, we're growing up in very different times than you did. Ask us about our norms and what our lives are like. So you're not just assuming that our lives are an extension of yours. And so we talked about that last week, and we got a tremendous number of responses.
What were they like?
So that we got grandparents who hate iPads and other devices. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
We got comments on table manners. We got comments on, I liked my grandchildren when they were little, but I don't know what to do with them as teenagers. We got comments that said, I had no idea what to do with them as little kids, but now I really like them as teenagers. It was all over the map, but it fell into two interesting categories. One was the grandparents who really felt like they had to control the entire time with the grandchildren, have it all planned out, and this is what's supposed to happen. And the second group was they just really wanted to be in relationship with the grandchildren, and if they were in relationship with them at 6 and the grandparents changed and the child's changed, you can't assume that if you don't work on the relationship, you'll have a relationship at 16. You have to work on it all the way along.
So with those two what are your recommendations for both?
So one, start early. And model. So I will say to my grandchildren, this is what's happening today, this is what I'm worried about, this is what's interesting to me. Two, I have to remind myself constantly, these are not my children.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not there yet, so I don't know, but I would feel like sort of by extension that they...
And I have fabulous grandchildren, so it's not a pit to fall into.
Right.
But it's there, and I have to remember. And the third thing is develop a ritual. So our ritual is, at the end of the day, we sit down, my wife and myself and the grandchildren, and everybody takes a turn and says, well, this is the most interesting thing I saw today or that happened today, and here's what made it interesting. Because it's not just the conversation, it's the practice at having those quality of conversations. So the kids are used to talking to you like that and not going like this because it's suddenly the end of the day and you're going to ask them questions.
So it's your suggestion then maybe to always foster this.
Right, and model.
Work at it.
You know, you have to admit what's going on with you to get them to really talk about what's going on with them. And they're lovely. Boy, are they smart. I learn something every single time.
I know you have your hands full.
I do.
Your granddaughters with you.
I do.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Kathy.
Good to
Thanks.
see you too.
See you next week.
All right, we'll be right back.